This is tofu cottage cheese, and it's better than dairy cottage cheese for a few reasons. Let me tell you why. First, what the heck is tofu really? Besides the white square block that a lot of people seem to be disgusted by for some reason. I don't get it. Tofu is the curds of soy milk, just like cheese is the curds of cow milk. Cheese and tofu curds are both proteins that are made using an acid or a base to separate the curds from the whey. So tofu is made in a very similar process to cheese. So again, why would you not enjoy it? Just like most simple cheeses, you can make this at home. If you're interested in doing that, I would check out Mary's Test Kitchen, who has an extensive library of making tofus from multiple different legumes, and it's really interesting to watch. Now, what makes cheese and tofu different? Besides, cheese is made from the milk secreted from an animal's orifice, and tofu is made from a bean blended up with water. Let's compare dairy cottage cheese to the tofu cottage cheese. This 100-gram bowl of tofu cottage cheese you are looking at has 124 calories, 13 grams of protein, and 6.5 grams of fat. 100 grams of dairy cottage cheese has around 98 calories, 10 grams of protein, and 4 to 5 grams of fat. So they're pretty similar, except the tofu cottage cheese actually has far more fiber, calcium, iron, magnesium, thiamine, and vitamin K, along with having zero cholesterol and actually a little less carbohydrates. And I know the biggest differences are the types of protein. I know all the gym bros right now are screaming, "But it's not digestible." But it is. It's pretty dang close, actually. According to the newest PDCAAS, which everybody knows is the Protein Digestibility Corrected Amino Acid Score, soy protein ranks just below milk in its digestibility, but earns the same score of 1 when everything is accounted for, 1 being the highest score. A lot of the studies that weigh the difference between whey or casein-based protein and soy protein actually vary. They go widely different results. In fact, there's a recent study involving 61 untrained men and women over 12 weeks of resistance training consuming soy protein versus whey protein, which saw no significant difference in muscle thickness, with both groups sharing almost identical muscle mass growth. There was no significant difference between whey and soy protein. So for the lactose intolerant, vegan, or plant-based people, soy-based cottage cheese can exist, it's really good, and it's good and better for you. This one's for you. So let's make it. It's really easy, really simple, and way easier than making homemade cottage cheese. All we're gonna do is grab 2 pots. In the first pot, I'm gonna add the silken tofu along with a bit of lactic acid. Now I know I have to say this every single time I use it. I'm always gonna get the comments about lactic acid and lactose. Lactic acid is not lactose. They are not the same things. This is lactic acid that was made by fermenting sugar beets. Lacto-fermenting something is creating lactic acid. Lactic acid does have a strong dairy taste, which is why I'm using it today, but it's not lactose. No worries. I'm also gonna add a small pinch of salt, kick the heat on very low, and just kind of let this simmer for a little bit. In the second pot, I'm gonna add a few cups of water with a large pinch of salt and a 1/4 cup of white vinegar. I'm gonna kick the heat up, break the extra firm tofu into large chunks. I'm gonna toss this in, bring it to a boil, and let it simmer for about 20 minutes, which is plenty of time for today's sponsor. I've been using Hungry Root for a couple of years, and I couldn't imagine going back to a time without it. Hungry Root is the easiest way to eat healthy. If you're like Monica and I, trying to figure out what's for lunch or dinner is kind of a chore. If we don't have something planned or prepped, then a lot of the times we just end up grabbing something quick and it might not be the healthiest. Hungry Root does the grocery shopping for you. They send you fresh, high-quality groceries along with quick and easy recipes. Today, I'm making their Southwestern Protein Bowl. This looks awesome. It's like having your own personal assistant for healthy living. First, you take a short, fun quiz. It's just what you like to eat and what your goals are. Then they build you a personalized cart with all your grocery needs for the week. Each order is totally customizable, so you can use the suggestions or choose anything you want. Personally, I just use the suggestions. They always send high-quality produce, healthy snacks, and so much more. And you get to try new things that you might not have bought on your own. I mean, and look at this, the recipes, they come out so good every single time. Oh my God. So gang, the first 100 people to use my code SAUCE40 will get 40% off their first order at Hungry Root. Use the link in the show notes or scan the QR code and use code SAUCE40 to get 40% off. Hungry Root, thanks for sponsoring today's video and for always providing me incredible groceries, and these recipes are out of this world. my God, I love this stuff. Okay, now we're back. At this point, we have our cream and our curds. I'm going to add the silken tofu to a large bowl, drain off the extra firm tofu. We need to strain this out. I'm just gonna strain it through some cheesecloth and then squeeze the cheesecloth to get out any excess moisture. Now at this point, I'm just gonna toss it all together, kind of mix it in and break it up with a whisk or a fork, whatever you really have, until we get a nice cottage cheese consistency. Now to get the consistency just right, I'm gonna mix together 1/8 teaspoon of xanthan gum and 1/8 teaspoon of carrageenan, which even dairy cottage cheese contains. You don't need this, it just helps separate it less. Now I'm just gonna toss this into a large container and throw it in the fridge to chill. And now this looks awesome. Growing up, I had cottage cheese constantly. It was one of my favorite things, but now I eat different and I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't even have it anyways. When I was a kid, I loved this prepared with cottage cheese and peaches, so today we're doing the same thing. And now I know this is amazing, but let's hear what Monica has to say. Okay, here it is. I mean, what do you think we made?
This looks like cottage cheese and peaches.
It does, doesn't it? I've talked about my cottage cheese and peaches love probably quite a bit. So you ready? You want to just grab some of the cottage cheese first?
Sure, yeah, let's
just to
try
see
it.
Just to see what you think. I'm kind of curious. Cheers. Cottage cheese.
That's really good.
Super good, right?
It's like, it does have a cheesy flavor and then a cheesy texture, like that sour cheese kind of.
Yeah.
And then a texture, and like, it's delicious.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I'd say it's probably maybe like a little bit drier than cottage cheese, but all in all, it's dang
A little
good.
drier, yeah.
Okay, grab a peach.
Just a whole peach.
Well, I mean, you don't have to get a whole peach. I mean, you can do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little piece of a peach.
Yeah. I could have probably made each one of us one of these little things. I don't know why I served us one serving.
Just how it goes.
Okay, cheers.
Now, with the peach,
You can't tell the difference.
I can't tell it's tofu.
Yeah, once you add the peach to it,
Yeah.
That's no longer
cottage
tofu.
cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so good.
like, you don't have to do a peach. That's just what I grew up with. Like cottage cheese and fruit, you can do that.
I mean, it is good with peaches.
Some people do, it is good with peaches. Some people do like peppered.
I can see that.
Yeah, but all in all, once you add something to it, in my opinion, I feel like it's indistinguishable.
My opinion, too.
Yeah, I mean, it really does have that flavor, consistency, everything. And then you're getting about the same amount of protein. It's honestly easier digestible for most people.
Yeah, this is great.
And so it's just a fantastic snack, topping, dessert, side dish. I mean, I don't know. This is something I don't know. I grew up with it and I love the living heck out of this stuff. So for me, this is just like, it takes me back like crazy.
Awesome.
I talked a lot on this one. I don't know, do you have any more thoughts?
No, I mean, it's just so good. I think I told you, like, it
Yeah.
tastes just like cottage cheese. The peaches are really good in here.
Yeah.
You can use any kind of fruit, but like, I think like there's something about peaches and cottage cheese that like goes together differently than anything else.
It's wild. I mean, it's so good. It's just so good. Well, there we go.
This is it.
Cottage cheese and peaches. I mean, we have a whole container of it, so
Okay.
we're good to go for a while. I mean, that was just one serving, so we can make another one.
No, we're gonna do more.
Yeah. Boom.
Whoa!
Walker's like, what? What just happened?
I know, it really made him excited.
Yeah, he's like, what? Why did mom just yell? No reaction. Okay.
We tried.